For years, Anna thought she knew her family. She believed the love they shared was real, that their bond was unbreakable. But when her stepsister Rachel, the quiet, overlooked one, finally confessed the truth, everything Anna thought she understood about her family shattered in an instant. What Rachel revealed wasn't just a secret, it was a haunting betrayal that would change their lives forever. The question is, could Anna handle the darkness she never saw coming? And was the truth something they could ever escape? On the surface, Anna and Rachel had everything anyone could want: a comfortable home, loving parents, and a seemingly perfect bond. Anna, the older of the two, was always the center of attention. She excelled in school, had a wide circle of friends, and was the golden child of the family. Her life appeared to be flawless, something that many would envy. Rachel, on the other hand, was quieter, more reserved, and often overshadowed by Anna's presence. As the younger of the two, she had always been somewhat in the background, never quite able to escape the enormous shadow her stepsister cast over her life. The family had come together years earlier when their parents remarried, blending two separate lives into one. Despite the initial awkwardness of living with a new family, Rachel had grown to love her new home, and Anna had welcomed her into her world at least. That's what Rachel thought. They spent their days in shared activities, dinners around the table, and vacations that created memories they would cherish for a lifetime. But hidden beneath the smiles and laughter, there were cracks no one spoke about, cracks Rachel couldn't yet understand. As the years passed, Rachel began to notice the subtle differences between her and Anna. The way their parents always praised Anna's achievements, the way their friends gravitated toward Anna, and the way Rachel often felt invisible. It wasn't that her family didn't love her, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she was always second best. Even when she tried to assert herself, it was as though she was always waiting for permission to exist in her own space. This feeling of being overlooked began to fester deep inside her. Rachel's life was slowly unraveling in ways that no one could see. While Anna continued to live her picture-perfect life, Rachel's world was quietly falling apart. At school, she kept to herself more and more. She didn't make the friends Anna did, and she began to retreat into herself. But it wasn't just school that caused Rachel's withdrawal, it was everything at home. Every time she looked at Anna, she felt an overwhelming sense of resentment mixed with guilt. Why couldn't she be more like Anna? Why couldn't she be seen the way Anna was? One evening, Rachel discovered an outlet for her feelings. She began sneaking out at night, slipping through the back door of their house after everyone had gone to bed. She didn't tell anyone where she was going, nor did she feel the need to. The quiet streets of their neighborhood became her sanctuary, a place where she could escape the suffocating expectations that hovered over her. The further she walked into the night, the more freedom she felt. She would wander through empty parks, sit by the river, or sometimes meet up with a few people she barely knew but who understood her pain in ways no one else could. Soon, Rachel's nightly excursions became a habit. At first, it was her secret one she guarded closely. But as the days passed, she began to notice how the secrecy weighed on her. The guilt of lying to her family started to gnaw at her, but she didn't know how to stop. What could she say? That she was struggling to live up to expectations that felt impossible. That she hated the way Anna seemed to have everything and she had nothing. She couldn't tell anyone. After all, no one would understand. Rachel's behavior didn't go unnoticed, though. Her parents began to ask questions, but they couldn't pinpoint the cause of her change. They attributed it to teenage angst or simply growing pains. Anna, ever the concerned stepsister, tried to reach out to Rachel but only seemed to push her further away. Rachel was growing distant, and Anna had no idea why. One evening, everything changed. It had been a particularly quiet day, and the house was still. Their parents were out, leaving Anna and Rachel alone for the night. Rachel was sitting at the kitchen table, her face drawn and pale. She hadn't been sleeping well for weeks, and the strain was starting to show. Anna, trying to break the silence, sat down across from her. The tension in the room was palpable. Rachel's hands shook slightly as she pushed her hair back, her eyes avoiding Anna's. Anna watched her stepsister, feeling a deep sense of worry, but also confusion. What was going on with her? Why couldn't she talk to her? Anna wanted to bridge the gap between them, to fix whatever was wrong, but she didn't know how. Then Rachel spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "Anna, I have to tell you something." Anna leaned forward, sensing the gravity in Rachel's tone. "What's wrong?" she asked gently. Rachel took a deep breath, her face contorting with a mixture of fear and regret. She met Anna's eyes, her expression filled with anguish. I've been hiding something from you, something that's been eating away at me for years." Anna felt her heart race. "What is it?" Rachel's voice cracked as she confessed the truth that would change everything. She explained how her life had become a tangled mess of lies and secrets, and how her struggles went unnoticed. What Anna heard was not only shocking but heartbreaking. The facade that their perfect family had built crumbled in an instant. Rachel's confession didn't just reveal her own pain, it revealed a truth Anna was not ready to face. As the words spilled out, Anna's mind raced. The confession was something she could never have expected, and as the truth sank in, Anna realized that the life she thought she understood was far more complicated and dark than she could have ever imagined. The next few days were a blur of confusion, anger, and disbelief. Anna couldn't stop replaying Rachel's confession in her mind, each detail unraveling the world she had known. The perfect family image, the picture of togetherness they'd all worked so hard to maintain, was shattered beyond repair. Anna had spent so many years trying to be the ideal daughter, the perfect stepsister, but now she questioned everything: her place in this family, her relationships, and her own understanding of Rachel. After Rachel's confession, the entire house felt suffocating. Anna tried to reach out to her stepsister, but Rachel had retreated even further into herself. She wasn't the same person anymore. Rachel's confession had shaken Anna to her core, but it had also left her with more questions than answers. Why had Rachel kept everything hidden for so long? What was the real reason behind her secretive behavior, her late-night escapes? What had Anna missed all these years? The silence between them grew, thick and uncomfortable. Their parents, too, were rocked by the revelation. They'd known their daughters were different, but they had no idea just how deeply Rachel had been struggling. The trust they thought they had with Rachel had been broken. Every time they tried to talk to her, she shut down, becoming more distant and more withdrawn. The family dynamic shifted painfully. What was once a happy home now felt like a war zone, with no clear enemy but an overwhelming sense of betrayal and confusion. Anna, feeling the weight of it all, sought comfort in her own way. She started digging into Rachel's past, trying to understand what had led to this confession. What was the secret Rachel had carried all these years? The more she uncovered, the more disturbing the truth became. It wasn't just the lies that hurt, it was what Rachel had been hiding from everyone. Rachel's nights out had been filled with far darker events than Anna had ever imagined. But there was something even more unsettling, a deeper mystery that lingered at the edges of Rachel's confession, something that made Anna feel that the truth had yet to be fully revealed. One night, when the tension in the house reached a boiling point, Anna couldn't take it anymore. She confronted Rachel, demanding to know the whole truth. Rachel's eyes, once filled with guilt, were now empty, as if she had already given up on trying to explain herself. In that moment, it became clear that Rachel wasn't going to talk anymore, not about her troubled past, not about the dark secrets that had haunted her for years. But Anna refused to give up. She needed closure. As the two sisters stood facing each other, Rachel finally spoke, her voice cold and flat. "You think you know everything now, don't you? But you don't. The truth is, it's never been about me. It's about you." Anna froze, confused. "What do you mean?" Rachel's lips curled into a small, almost sinister smile. "All these years, you've been the perfect daughter, the perfect sister. You had everything I wanted, but you never saw what was happening right in front of you. You never saw who I was becoming." Her words were laced with venom now, a twisted bitterness that Anna had never heard before. Anna's pulse quickened. "What are you talking about?" Rachel laughed softly, but there was no humor in it. "The confession, Anna, wasn't the real secret. The real secret was that I wasn't the only one hiding something. You were, too." Anna's heart pounded as the weight of Rachel's words settled in. She stepped back, eyes wide in shock. "What are you saying?" With a wicked grin, Rachel leaned in closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "You think your perfect life has been unscathed, but you've been part of the lie all along. You've been blind to what's been going on in this house. You think I'm the broken one? No, Anna, you are." Suddenly, everything clicked into place in a horrifying way. Anna's mind raced as the truth crashed over her like a wave. Rachel wasn't just confessing to her pain, she was revealing the final piece of a dark puzzle that Anna had never been able to see. The house, the family, the life they had shared, it was all built on secrets. And Anna, in her naivety, had been complicit in hiding them. The revelation hit her like a punch to the gut. Rachel had been the scapegoat, the one who wore the mask of the troubled child, but all along it had been Anna who had been living the biggest lie. The twisted part of it all was that Anna had been a part of a far more disturbing pattern, one that had been set in motion long before Rachel entered the picture. She realized then that Rachel's confessions weren't just a plea for understanding, they were a warning. And as the dark truth began to sink in, Anna felt the cold fingers of realization grip her heart. The family they had once known, the home they had built, was never truly theirs. It was all a carefully constructed illusion, and now that illusion was unraveling in the most terrifying way possible. Anna wasn't sure if she could ever look at her family the same way again, but one thing was certain: the shadows that had always haunted their home were finally coming to light. And nothing would ever be the same again.